Good evening, folks. Welcome back to another Wednesday hobby hangout. Slight change of scenery tonight. I thought I'd try and kind of change around for a Wednesday because obviously you might know we've been chatting a little bit how I've been kind of reorganising my room and stuff, so all of my stuff's dead easy to kind of be able to come in and film in bits and pieces. Well, all my paint stuff is over like on my painting desk in the corner, and I normally have to pull bits out, get them over to the main table where the cameras and stuff are. But I've kind of cobbled together a bit of a there's cables and stuff running all over me. If I move, everything will probably come falling down. But I've rigged up a bit of a kind of temporary sort of thing tonight, so I can see how it would work for a Wednesday night. So cameras over here, screens over here. So I'm reading the kind of the screens from over there, and obviously my painting stuff's down the table. If I flick down to painting, this is obviously a little bit of a different view. This is what we're painting tonight, folks. It's a bit of a big beast. It's a bit of a big one. Arnold saying, "Wow, bright light! Is it that bright? Is it? It doesn't look that bright on my screen." But let me know if it is a bit bright. I can always work with that. But yeah, I mean this is basically it's the devil from Joan of Arc by Mythic Games. And bear in mind that this game is 12mm scale. That will give you an idea of just how big this beast is. If I can grab one of my Necrons here, just to show you, from a scale point of view, just how big this thing is. So there's a Necron warrior that I painted, I think, maybe last time. Bright enough to kill a gremlin. Which bit? Tell me which bit's bright. Is it the bit with me on, or is it the bit with the model on? Tell me which one it is, because they don't look that bright on my screen, but the brightness on the screen might be turned down. The little monitor that I've just put together, because I can play with any of these things to get them down. My face, it looks really dull on there actually. Let me just we're doing it on the fly now, folks. If I can just if I can get to here, I should be able to. Where's my ISO? Ignore me. We'll have to do it. We'll have to do it the other way. So excuse me while I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to flick back to the main screen. I'm going to then pop. Which one is it? It's funny you're saying that because it doesn't look like that at all on my camera. There it is. So if I come down. I'll tell you what. Let's how does that? It's coming from the lower front. Right. I'll tell you what. Then let's turn this because I've just got lights cobbled up all. See, the screen looks really, really dark. Let me. Right. How's that one looking? Is that any better? Or is it too dark now? Let me know, because we can play about with that. So that's part of what this test is. It looks super dark on my screen. That's why I had it all turned up a bit brighter. Let's see what people are saying. Any better? Any worse? Now the background's dark. Probably going to be hard to balance me. Yeah, the background is a bit dark. Let me I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll come back to if I can find the right buttons. There we go. Let's try that. Hopefully that should be ignore the background. I ain't too worried about the background. We're going to be concentrating mainly on the painting bit. I'll have to do a bit of playing with it. It looks different. Like I say, I got the thank you. Is this light in hell? It's just, I've literally just cobbled it together. So I've got like a light. So if I tilt that one away, see that's my kind of my painting light, which you can see. Can you see? No, you can't see. That's my painting light that's on there, so that's in front of me. Because if I turn that one off, it gets really dark. So we'll get there. Yeah, Arnold saying the lights on the workspace is great, so that's fine. I've got a light that basically is right here underneath the camera, coming across. I've got one coming down behind it, so you can see it anywhere. But yeah, so this is the one we're playing with tonight. It's the devil model. I'll come in a little bit closer so you can see some of the detail and stuff on it. I've primed it black. I've highlighted it like Zenithal highlighted it with white, and then I've sprayed onto it tonight just beforehand, just because I didn't want to be running the compressor while my little ones are asleep in the next room. And I've sprayed contrast paints through it just to get a bit of a base colour on it. So I've used Flesh Tearer's Red on the main body of it. I've come onto the wings and across the backs of the wings here I've used what is Magos Purple, but I think it kind of come through with a little bit of red in it as well. But so we'll be highlighting these kind of the bits between the arms, if you like, between those. We'll be highlighting those up, and then I've came in with I think what was Gore Grunter fur brown into the hair there as well. So yeah, that's what we've done with that one tonight, just to get a bit of basics on it. And then a lot of this I'm going to be just kind of just dry brushing and stuff, really, just to try and get the best out of it. So let's have a quick look and let's see who's in the chat tonight, because we've got a few in. We've got Marcus, we've got Mark Wright. Hello to you folks. He's painting Black Powder Napoleonics tonight. Nice one, mate. We've also got Scott Longworth. There's no painting tonight. He's sorting out some files for 3D printing. Bring on the Vikings. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to move this microphone across a little bit while I'm facing this way. What else we got? Let's just make sure my sound's okay as well. Yeah, that's the beauty of these live streams. I can just mess about with them and stuff. I'd like to at some point get that camera over here, where above my because in the corner of my room is I've got my airbrush. My airbrush booth there, so I'm sitting like a bit of an L shape here with my stuff in the corner, and I've got a monitor kind of perched on top of my airbrush booth at the minute. So yeah, it's all just kind of cobbled. I managed to finish this about 7:30, so that'll tell you how much cobbled together it is. Marcus has finished his Vargeist conversion, so they've got hands and wings. Nice one. Hello, Christian, mate. How are you doing? Barry Kleiber, hello, sir. I have to say a very public thank you so much to Barry, who arranged to get me Blitzball over from the US. And then basically when I asked to send him the money, he said it was a gift for the channel and stuff, and just to enjoy it and pass it on in the future. So thank you very much, mate. I didn't ask for it as a gift kind of thing, so it was a really, really nice surprise. Thank you, mate. We've got Antonio says, hey, good painters and modelers. Everybody but me then, in that case. Barry says he's got to cut out in a little while. He's got a yearly performance review. I hope it all goes really well, mate. We've also got Antonio saying he's doing Warcry today, finishing his Furies. I never did paint my Furies from Warcry, if I'm honest. I don't think I've ever actually even used them in a game. VJ says, morning, 6:30 start time, so much more sensible now that summertime's kicked in. Nice one. Tony Howell, hello to you, fella. And VG saying, now the big question, can he paint with a hand injury? Yes, VG had a bit of an accident. I think he said he was throwing a printer in the skip. Or throwing a printer out, I should say. And pretty much slashed through his thumb, I think. Yeah, I hope it's not too painful, fella. Blizzards are saying good morning, good evening, whatever your case may be. We've got Simon Parfit in as well. Hopes to get around to some Dead Zone Matsudan later on. Ortega as well, saying can't stay too long, but looking forward to seeing what's on the painting table. Yeah, so for those just joining us at the moment, this is what's on the table, just for a bit of a change. I'll be completely honest. I've been in a bit of a grump the last couple of days. I'm just a bit down in the dumps for no other reason than I think I'm just a bit pissed off with the current situation that we're all in. That's about it. So I just thought, you know what it is, I'm just going to paint something that I don't care whether I ruin it, whether it comes out absolutely marvellous. I'm just going to paint something completely different for a bit of a change of pace. Joachim then as well saying, good evening folks, fixing painting mistakes on these Spire Tyrants and comb the static grass on these Scratch build. Can someone tell me why I love this hobby again? Tony said he's waiting for his youngest to turn up for a sleepover, then he's into the man cave. John Estel says, evening all, any Transformers theme to your Matsudan, Simon? The Spectra and the Asterians looked awesome. Yes, they certainly do. Tim Cafferty's in as well. Hello, Tim. Long time no see, mate. I don't think you've been around for a little bit, but nice to see you in. Everyone's talking about the bright lights. Colton Lane, hello, mate. VG says, wow, that's huge. Thanks, mate. Simon Davis says, how's it going? It's all right, mate. It's all right. I've had better days. I've had worse days. It's weird, actually. On my screen, my face now looks really, really dark. It's not too bad on the camera, but on the actual screen. So I wonder whether I've got some kind of filters or something. Again, as long as you can see where I'm painting, it's fine. Simon Davis says all of his Joan of Arc stuff is still in the boxes. Mine too, mate. This is the first time it's been out since I first got it and went, it's really nice. I'll paint that one day. Even the huge dragon, the huge big dragon, the legendary dragon I've got, still in the box. VG says probably light bleed from the desk lamp. Yeah, I think I've just got, basically, I'm in a really kind of small corner here, and the lights for the main room are behind me. I just need to kind of get a bit of a better setup. But yeah, it's more about where I've got sockets, how far I can stretch cables, where I can. My camera is balanced on a Tupperware tub that is full of sand that I use for flocking bases and stuff. So that just kind of shows you. A Bela Lugosi movie. Yeah, I think it's probably. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to try just turn this one off and see what difference that makes. I'm going to leave it now. Peacetime Painting. Hello, mate. How are you doing? Nice to see you in. If anybody hasn't checked out Peacetime Painting, please do go and check out his YouTube channel. He's just clicked over 200 subscribers. He's a local lad to me as well. We're planning when the world fixes itself, we're going to plan to get together and do a video as well. He's doing these really kind of really interesting and really quite refreshing sort of little 40k battles, if you like, just between a couple of units or a couple of models. Relatively short, kind of 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They're just a nice bit of fun. If you're into just kind of something a little bit different, definitely worth watching. Who else we got? People chatting about the lights, blah blah blah. It's by Peter Stockdale. Hello, mate. How are you doing? We've got Busey in as well. Let's just jump off the top of my screen, obviously. Peter Koeman, nice setup. Yeah, you wouldn't say that if you could see it from my side. I'm kind of just hemmed in here a little bit. Arnold saying the sound's great. Thank you, Arnold. Thank you. At least one thing was working tonight. I knew I could rely on that bit. Yeah, I definitely investing in a bit of a better microphone and a bit of a sound setup was worth it in the long run. I think I've just I used to use a USB kind of dongle thing, which was basically just normal 3.5mm jack into USB. It's what I've used for years, and I think it was starting to break down a little bit and it was getting a little bit of audio hiss in the background. I think the microphone it was a pretty cheap microphone that I bought very, very soon when I started, but because when I'm recording sort of videos that I then kind of edit and put up on YouTube, I can play with the audio, I can clean it up in sort of post, so I never really worried about it, and I don't really watch back the live streams to check the kind of the quality of them and stuff. And I think it was time to spend a bit of money. So yeah, I bought a Rode NT1 mic, which is, they're not cheap, but yeah, as you can hear, they sound pretty good. And I've got a little Behringer audio interface, a USB audio interface, which lets me kind of play with levels and gain and kind of that kind of effects and stuff like that. Christopher Warden said he's working again. Poor lad. Ian says, how do you all know hobbying for me deep in the coding programming minds? I hope you managed to get out. Okay, mate. Vigi says he only did it yesterday, but the stitches are holding well. Bobby Clark says he's tidying up the studio today and popped some framed artwork up. I saw your pictures, mate. What was the artwork? I couldn't quite tell from the pictures on Instagram, but they looked really nice, mate. John's saying he's heard when painting that model it might be huge, but the devil is in the detail. But VG saying Tutter wears the tripod of champions. It is when it's full of sand and it's not kind of going to fall over. Where we a bit of chat there. Peacetime Painting saying, appreciate the shout out. Don't worry about it, mate. Don't worry about that. Barry saying, how you all worked out? I'm not looking for praise, just people helping people. I know you're not looking for praise, mate, but it's only fair that I say thank you. It was not only did you did you buy it as a gift, but you also went out of your way to order it and go to the shipping place and get it delivered as well. It's above and beyond, mate. Thank you. Got Martin as well. Hello, mate. How are you doing? Nice to see you. I'm painting this because I ran out of ships. Tony says he's talking to Bobby Clark about the pictures. Anna's in as well, so it's just bobbing it tonight. Got to be up early and need an early night. Take care, Anna. Sleep well. And Brian Martin says, hello all, swinging in before heading home from work. Nice one. Well, it's about time I got some paint out then, isn't it? So, as I said before, oops, I just clicked something there and everything went off my screen. So what I've done here is primed in black. It was then zenith highlighted with white from above, just to kind of pick out some bits. And then I've used contrast paints through the airbrush. I use fleshed hair as red, kind of all over the skin and over the, I don't know what you would actually call these, but these kind of, you know, like the kind of the frame or the stem of the actual wings. There was fleshed hair red on that one as well. Christopher saying, did you use contrast paint right out of the bottle in your airbrush? I did, mate. I literally just poured it in and just sprayed it on. It went on really, really nice, actually. And to be honest, it's the first time I've done it. I think I'll be using it more often, if I'm honest. It's a bit expensive, but yeah, I think I'll be using it more often. So yeah, I've used the fleshed hair red for that. I then put contrast Magos purple onto these wings, but I think there must have still been a bit of red left in the airbrush, and I assumed they would be because I wanted to try and blend it in a bit, but it's more red than I thought it was. So we'll be highlighting those bits up, and then gold fur, I think it is, just for the hair down the back there. So yeah, and I'm just gonna kind of just dry brush it really, and just try a few bits and pieces. So let me grab a few dry brushes out of here, and I think what we'll do is we'll start with, if I can see my red paints here, we'll start with a little bit of Mephiston red, I think. So just grab these off the shelf. Simon Day says, just started following Peacetime Painting. Great stuff, mate. Nice to see you sharing the love there, mate. Mort says he's good. He's been working late today. Working late, mate. Never good. Unless you've had some fun stuff to do, mate, and then it's not bad. But yeah, it's a tough one, mate, when you've got to work late. You could say I'm working late, but it's a bit different. So yeah, just you can kind of see a bit more what I'm doing now. So I've stopped using a wet palette actually. I'm just literally using a ceramic tile now, because I found the wet palette was a bit of a waste for me, because I tend not to come back and paint again, to be fair. So I'm just putting some onto the wet palette here. Yeah, not onto the wet palette, sorry, onto the tile. Tile was like literally, what was it, like 125 or something from B&Q for a sample tile, for a single tile rather. And yeah, what I did was I stuck some little bits of what's it called, like foam pad, like the felt stuff that you put on the bottom of like sofas to stop it scratching wooden floors and things. I put some of that on, just to kind of stop it scratching my worktop, and then Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, as they say. Fiji says contrast to airbrush makes a good filter. Also works really well over a zenithal prime. Yeah, it definitely did, mate. It definitely worked. It definitely worked well. I liked it. Mod saying contrast to the airbrush is like using inks, a cheaper way if you get into it. Yeah, I keep meaning to pick up some inks, mate. I think I've heard the Dale Rowney ones are pretty good. Which I think I can just like pick up from like Hobbycraft or somewhere. So yeah, I might try some of those at some point. I think you can see the purple a little bit better on the underside there as well. Obviously it was more black, so yeah, the purple was a bit darker through there. So I'm just going to come over the top here. So this is just Mephiston red. These are the Artis Opus dry brushes. Just kind of dip a little bit in the end there, just wiping it off on a towel. This might actually be a nice way to kind of do these painting streams, because instead of just seeing me painting the model, you actually kind of see the whole process as well. Not that I'm any kind of expert or anything like that, but it's just like, especially for beginners and stuff, wondering like how's dry brushing work, or how does he put the paint on, or things like that. I think it's just nice to see the process sometimes, rather than just seeing the brush touch the model, if you like. So yeah, so we're just gonna play about with this tonight, I think. Bobby's chatting there. Steve says painting the Incubi today. Nice one, fella. Nice one. Just get a bit more off there. Oops. I think it's about time I actually bought a few more paints as well. I'm starting to find now that loads of my paints are getting down towards the bottoms of the pots since I've started painting a lot more. Since I started doing this full time, I found that I'm certainly painting more because I've got the time now, actually, which I never used to have too much of before for the painting side of things. But and I've blasted through a lot more stuff than I would normally do. So things are getting there. Pots are getting used up for a change. VJ saying he was chatting on the Discord about starting a tabletop simulator Blitzball league. Pretty keen for that. Yeah, I just commented on it, mate, before I came on the stream tonight. As long as the times and the days of the week or whatever match up with when I'm free and stuff, I'm definitely up for that, mate. Anything to get some more games in. As I mentioned, I'm kind of missing a bit of like just generally chatting to people. I mean, like obviously, like I said, this is my job now, so I work on my own. I'm in this room a lot. Like, this is my office. This is where I work. I had big plans like when I was going full time to get out and visit people and play games with people and visit different stores and go to see different people at companies and things and get around and go to conventions. And I was really looking forward to that because in my old job, like obviously I didn't always have the time to do that kind of stuff. And then obviously, you know, we all know the reason why I can't do it. But on top of that, I'm just not really kind of getting any social interaction with people really. Like, so yeah, I think I'm driving myself up the pole a little bit. I need to get out. I think, and especially like I've been dieting and stuff as well. So I've had a month off the booze, and then in the northeast they've brought down this additional lockdown thing where now you can't like basically go to like a pub or a restaurant or anything without, unless it's with somebody that's in your house, somebody from the same household. So now I've had a month off the booze. I can't even go to the pub with my mate now. So yeah, it's a tough one. But anyway, I'm here and I'm healthy, and I think I've lost 17 pound in weight now since September the 1st, since I started. I'm still getting my miles in and stuff, so I'm fit and healthy. I just want to go and abuse it a little bit. Where are we at? Barry saying, got to run. If I survive my review, I'll be back later. Have fun. Best of luck, mate. I'm sure that you will absolutely smash it, mate. You've got nothing to worry about. If they say anything negative, just say, you know, I did a big favour for Andy. I'm sure that's worth some points, mate, some brownie points. Tony saying, Marcus is saying, I started using a white marble tile as a palette. I found it when a unit near my work was throwing them out leftover materials after they remodeled. Yeah, marble stuff would work great as well. The beauty with this is basically once you've kind of finished, you can just rinse it off. You can just wash it, so it's and it just cleans off again. So that's one of the beauties of it. Tony's saying Dale Rowney inks are excellent. I use them a lot, and the pipette applicator is really handy. That was one thing I would say, is that the obviously using contrast paints, there is no applicator, so I ended up like pouring way too much into the cup, and I mean I poured it back in. I didn't make any mess or anything like that, but yeah, I think at some point I will end up screwing that up a little bit. Crabby saying, even all apologies for my lateness, my dog ate my homework. And Martin, yeah, been using Dale Rooney white and then the colours to tint. Yeah, somebody told me about the white one as well, so saying that the white was really good. I will have to try that, bud. Thank you for the recommendations. Right, we're going to put a little bit Evil Sun's Scarlet on there as well, just to lighten it up a little bit further. Ian says, living the dream, full-time hobbying. Yeah, do you know what it is? It's not like, I don't see it as full-time hobbying actually. Like it's funny. I mean, I'm sure people will go, yeah, whatever. But it's not like I'm just painting the stuff that I fancy painting really. Like sometimes things I'll get sent for review, and actually, I paint them up because I like to paint them up because I think when I review something, part of the review is also like what do I think about the models? What do I think? How do they paint? How do they go together? like it's not just about the game itself, or it's not just about the rule set or whatever. So I like to do the whole thing, like paint them up. So you get some games that I've absolutely loved, like doing the Infinity models. I absolutely loved it. Doing the Armada models for Kings of War Armada, I love painting them. Such a nice change of pace and painting something different. And then there's been other things that I've kind of painted them, but I've not enjoyed it. I'm not going to say what they are, but there's been other things where I've just I felt like I'm commission painting almost to an extent, because I'm doing something that's not necessarily for me. So yeah, it's a bit of a balance. It's nice when the good stuff comes. But yeah, I do find that it's I think it's part and parcel of the game to do the full thing and to form an opinion overall. It's all, even if the game's good, but I absolutely hate painting the models, would I go back and kind of paint them again? Probably not. So for me, I think it's kind of part of a full review, if you like. Marcus says, just remember the first plan always has a hiccup or two. Yeah, you're not wrong there, fella. Crabby saying that model is pretty epic. Yeah, it's a big size, mate. I don't know if everybody was there when I kind of first showed it, but there it is next to one of my Necrons, just so you can. That's a Necron warrior. That gives you an idea of the size of the thing. And bear in mind that this game is 12mm scale. I mean, the kind of the human size models are absolutely tiny against it. But yeah, there's lots of detail on it, so you can see like the dry brushing and stuff's really starting to pick it up. I forgot as well, when I was doing the purple on the wings, I put a little bit of purple into the kind of the crevices there as well. But there's some nice like kind of looks like kind of like tears in the flesh and some kind of stone. So some bits and pieces across the stomach there as well. So there'll be nice stuff to pick up on as well as I go. James Brazen as well. Hello, James. How are you doing, mate? Paul says you can go to the pub with your mate if you say he's in your bubble. You know what it is? Me and my wife went out for lunch. I think it was last Friday, and it was the first thing they said to us when we kind of were waiting outside to be seated. The first thing they said was, "Are you from the same household?" And yeah, it's so yeah, they're taking it quite strict at the moment, shall we say? But I can see why. Obviously, they don't want to lose their license and stuff over that kind of thing. So, yeah, I'd rather just play by the rules, if I'm honest. I locked myself in the house with the family for the best part of, what was it, 3 or 4 months, and played by the rules. So I'm not about to kind of to give up on it now. We got VJ saying keep it. We'll probably just leave it up to the individuals when they want to play their games. Keep it flexible. That sounds good, mate. In that case, I'm definitely in, mate. Count me in the little Blitz Bowl League, mate. If anybody would like to join our little Blitz Bowl League, we're doing it through our Patreon group, through the what's it called, through Discord. Just kind of organising games and stuff there, and then we'll play the games through Tabletop Simulator. You can join the Patreon from $2 per month. There's other stuff that we're doing in there as well. There's a bit of a painting challenge going on at the minute as well, that we're doing. There's painting swaps as well. VG organises bits of painting swaps where people get drawn at random and they paint up a model to a theme and then kind of send them to somebody else, like exchange them with people from around the world. There's a nice bit of community stuff that we do in there. So yeah, if anybody's interested in that, it's a nice little community in there. There's over 100 folks in there now. Right, that's enough of that one. I think we'll come in with a little bit of Wild Rider Red just to brighten it up a little bit more. Yeah, Steve's asking which one it is there. I just see Marcus just saying, yeah, it's the devil from Joan of Arc. It is, mate. It comes in the Unleash Hell expansion. So yeah, you can see the size of it. It was another reason why I wanted to change up the painting kind of sort of layout tonight, was just to give me a bit more space. I've just covered my gaming table, my main recording table, if you like. I've just recovered it with some nice material, Yeah, so it looks good on kind of on camera when I'm reviewing things and stuff. And the last thing I want to do is spill paint all over it. So yeah, I thought I'd try something a little bit different and see how it works out. Where are we at? James Bracy and Mr. Daler of Daler Rowney was a close family friend of mine. I forgot other people have heard of them sometimes. Yes, mate. It's funny how that kind of stuff happens, doesn't it? It's like when somebody's kind of related to somebody famous, and sometimes they forget it's not like just like somebody's uncle or something like that. It just happens to be kind of famous too. Mark was saying that hello, kids are in bed finally. Love the new setup. What the heck is that 3D printed? No, mate, it's not 3D printed. It's plastic. It's the devil from Joan of Arc, mate. It was part of the Joan of Arc Kickstarter that Mythic Games sent to me. The game itself is actually sort of, I would say it's not a bad game, but the rule book and the scenarios and stuff had so many misprints. It was almost a pain in the backside trying to play the game. The setup time takes way too long. It was too much stuff. It was almost overwhelming. And I'm 100% thankful that it wasn't my money that I'd spent on it. The models are beautiful. There's some really, really nice models. I saw somebody's been doing some modification to ranges of Shadow Deep to use all of the Joan of Arc models. So at some point they might see some use. But to be fair, this is the first thing I've painted from that set, and it was, as I mentioned at the start, it was purely I just fancied a bit of a change of pace, just something a bit different tonight, rather than painting the kind of the usual stuff. I'd enjoyed painting those Armada ships, and I think having a bit of a change from painting like human type stuff, it was nice just to have something a bit different. So I went to my my pile of stuff that's not ready to be painted, and this is what I pulled out today. Ian says, I'm envious though. Looks more fulfilling than grinding out code. Not that it doesn't have a upsides. Yeah, sorry, mate. I should say I absolutely love doing this, mate. Like even a bad day doing this is still 10 times better than the best days I had in my last job. So yeah, I ain't complaining, mate. Please don't get me wrong. But it's not like hobby all day, if you like. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of work goes on in the background that people don't see, and even just the kind of like the admin of contacting companies and chasing up with emails and sorting all my tax stuff out and all that, like sort of the admin of the Patreon stuff of making sure I'm sending out mugs and stuff. I've got to do that week. I've got a bit of time set aside this week as a bit of an admin day to get caught up on t-shirts and mugs and stuff. Yeah, I'm running a business essentially, mate. So there's lots more to it than just the fun bits. But yeah, like I said, even the worst day doing this job is 10 times better than the best day in my old one. Vijay saying the Armada minis came up with treat, mate. I think sometimes I think when you're really enjoying painting something, I think it just instantly improves the model you're painting as well. I think you can almost tell that you're enjoying it, if you like. I'll need a proper clean at some point with some clean water, not that red water that's gone in there now. So let's flip that over for that, and we'll clean that one out afterwards. Right, what are we doing with this one now then? Do we want to go any brighter with some of those reds? I think we'll leave the reds for now, and I think we'll... Actually, I should have done a little bit more to highlight the face, I think. Luke's in as well, saying, "Ooh, new camera angles." Yeah, just fancied a bit of a change, mate. A bit of a change. And he's also saying, "How's everyone doing?" Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Paul says we went on holiday in the northeast 2 weeks ago. Us and some friends, we just said we were a bubble. Nobody challenged it because you can't really prove it one way or the other. Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. But the problem is when it's my local pub that I've been going to with my mate for the last sort of 2 or 3 years. It's like it's just not worth the grief, mate. It's not worth the grief. Anyway, let's just brighten that face up a little bit. See, the teeth's gone a bit orange there, but we're not worried about that. We'll bring that back at some point. Right. I can see me having to get some clean water for this brushes at some point. I didn't really think that through, folks, did I? Right, let's put that to one side, get some more kitchen towel. Where is that? Christian sharing the Patreon there. Thank you very much, Christian. Much appreciated. Yes, link to the Patreon for the folks. James is saying, greetings, Andy. Hope you're doing well. Not shabby, mate. Mott says he's trying to get Carl to get a copy of Blitzball and ship it over. Yeah, it's it's a real shame. I wouldn't care as well. It's a real shame it's only available in Barnes and Noble in the US. And when it arrived, it's stamped on the side, made in the UK as well. That's the annoying thing. They obviously make them. They obviously make them in Nottingham and then ship them all the way over to the US for somebody to ship it all the way back over here again. So yeah, that was a little bit frustrating from that side of things. It's a real shame. I don't know why they haven't, why they wouldn't sort of bring that to the UK and make it more available. Oops. Sorry for just knocking the camera with my shoulder there. It doesn't make any sense really. There's got to be an ulterior motive behind it, but yeah, it's a real shame because it comes with all of the different teams' cards in the box as well. So all you've got to do is buy one of the Blood Bowl teams, and you've got. You're ready to go, and especially if you're playing with somebody else, you can go halves on the Blood Bowl teams because they all come with 2 frames, and the way a Blitzball works is it just uses 1 frame of that box. So if you're playing with a mate or something, you can go halves on every team, like buy a team each and just swap over the bits between you as well. So it's a great way to do it. So look where we're up to. Lucy's got no idea it was such a big mini. Yeah, it's a hell of a size, mate, isn't it? It's a hell of a size. To be honest, I think it's one of those things. Just got to dive in, haven't you, and kind of give it a go. I kind of been putting off painting these minis because I just thought, like, well, I'm not really going to use them. But I think something like this, it would be brilliant as to use as bit of a kind of like some kind of homebrew scenario for something like Vanguard or like Warcry or even Kings of War or something like that. It's some kind of sort of crazy scenario. It would be nice to factor these in. And because they are so big, like the scale's kind of irrelevant really. It doesn't matter if it looks out of scale because it's just big anyway. So Steve said he used to run his own friendly local gaming store. That was his dream, unfortunately short-lived. Yeah, I can imagine running a store is maybe not quite like the dream. And I tell you what, especially in this current climate as well, I assume there's a lot of people having a lot of problems doing that kind of stuff. But yeah. Marty's man painting on stream would give me the fear. Do you know what it is, mate? It used to me as well when I first started doing it. But actually now, I started doing it when the lockdowns first started because it was a case of, well, I have to sit and paint some stuff anyway, like sort of to get stuff done for on camera and that. I might as well just switch the camera on and sit and paint while I'm chatting to folks and that was back in March really, and here we are now in October and I'm still doing these Wednesday night streams. But I kind of forget to be honest. I mean, I'm very fortunate that the community here is pretty they know what I'm like. They know I'm not like some kind of sort of pro level painter. I'm not about kind of winning competitions with paintings and stuff like that. They know I'm just in this for a bit of fun and paint to enjoy it or paint just for the bit of fun of it really, just to get stuff done. So yeah, people are generally pretty kind. So yeah, it's I'm not professing to be the best painter. So I think people cut me some slack. Krabby says, I like this camera setup, mate. It looks cool. Yeah, I like it too, mate. I need to work a little bit on the lighting and stuff. Not the lighting for the model, the lighting for me. But normally I would have like a big light behind the camera. But it's almost kind of up against the wall and stuff. I tried plugging I've got like a webcam that I was going to use. The webcam basically just was playing up. I don't know what was hell with it, so I've had to get my main camera and switch to a different lens so I could kind of like zoom out a little bit. Otherwise, it would be like I'd be like sitting like this doing the stream. So yeah, I mean, like all things, I've had a busy day and I ended up trying to do it all at the last minute. So yeah, what you can't see is cables and all sorts of stuff behind me that as soon as I try to stand up, I'll probably trip over and stuff. But if it all works, like this monitor that's over here, if I can get that kind of mounted onto the wall, that kind of clears one thing out the way, and then get a long HDMI cable that kind of runs around the back of the room over to the PC as a second monitor. Yeah, I'm gonna do a bit of a studio tour in the next week or so. So you'll be able to see it. If I can get all this kind of rigged up and stuff, I'll be able to show you the different thing. Because one of the things I always wanted, I wanted two different areas. I wanted an area where I basically did sort of my painting streams from, and potentially live streams as well, to be fair. And I wanted an area where I filmed kind of battle reports, or I filmed those kind of talking head type videos. But I don't have the space at home, if I'm perfectly honest. But what I've managed to do through kind of a few sort of space saving ideas, things like getting lights attached to the ceiling rather than having tripods all over the floor and stuff, it's kind of created a bit more space in here now. So yeah, I'm kind of it's quite nice to be. I'm really lucky to have like a dedicated area, don't get me wrong, but it's quite nice to be able to kind of make the most of that. So we're just getting a bit of dry brushing in, folks. Really, I'm not, like I said before, I'm not doing anything too special here. It's a kind of model that it's so big that if I'm going to try and kind of like blend stuff and that, it needs to be spot on, and my stuff's not. Krabby says, do you use reference images at all? It depends, mate. Sometimes, sometimes I do. Sometimes I do, other times I just kind of wing it, just play it by ear and see as I go. I've got like a pretty decent eye for colour theory. I think it's just I've never been taught it or anything like that. I think I've got an eye for what things kind of work together. So I crack on with that kind of thing. But yeah, when it comes to kind of paint like this, I have no idea what my plans are. I've got no idea what colours I'll be using next, really. I just kind of wing it, mate. But at the end of the day, it's the devil. He was going to be red, and that was kind of as much as I knew when I started. Let's have a look. Tony saying, oh yeah, having a chat there. Mark says, how expensive was the shipping from US to UK for Blitzball? I'm not sure, mate, if I'm perfectly honest. It wasn't on the package, and Barry sent it as a gift, so I never did get to find out how much it was, mate. Mark was saying you can use it as a flying monster for Armada. To be honest, mate, I had considered making some kind of like watery base for it to make it look like it was coming out the water. So I still might do that yet. We have VJ saying, yes, splitting Blood Bowl team boxes is great bonus of Blitz, or you can keep both so you can play in mirror matches. Yeah, there is that as well, mate, to be fair. But yeah, if you've got a mate who's into it, it's a nice way to kind of to share the spends as well. Makes it quite a cheap game. Robert Zunk, hello mate, how you doing? He's just checking in for a bit, expecting his Kickstarter to arrive. His Refuge Terror from the Deep. I saw there's a few people starting to get theirs, mate, as well. I'm waiting for my Super Fantasy Brawl to arrive. I've not even had a shipping notification yet, so I think it's going to be a little while for mine. I ordered the Feldhair case. That was a bit of an add-on for mine as well, so I'm assuming anybody that's bought extra add-ons will have to kind of wait until the end. So it'll come when it comes. Simon Day says you could proxy this thing as one of the Forge World demons for 40k. Yeah, I could do it if I played demons or played anything in 40k, but I don't at the minute. But yeah, it's a great, it's like a Bloodthirst or something like that. The only thing I would say is the actual terrain on the bottom here is probably a bit out of scale. Like this is meant to be some kind of like church tower or something. It's a little bit out of scale, but you could easily kind of kit bash some stuff around that, I suppose. Warwick Dark Edge says the only time I've enjoyed painting was when a group of 4 or 5 friends all sat around painting and hanging out. Otherwise, it's boring. There is an element of that, mate. It can be quite sort of solitary and stuff. I used to like to just kind of do painting purely as a mental switch off at the end of a really busy day. That was how I got into the hobby. Basically, it was just painting. Excuse me. And I like to put something like on a documentary or something on, or some music or a podcast or an audio book, and kind of mentally switch off. But the more you do it, it can be quite dull. And really, that's kind of part of what these hobby hangouts are about. It's about getting people together. So if you're sitting painting at home, pop this on in the background. You can kind of just listen to me ramble on if that's your thing. You might hear a subject come up, or you're reading the chat and you might want to dive in and have a bit of a chat. And it also, people get to know each other and stuff as well. We have the Discord group as well, and there's a few folks. I think Yoakum normally kind of leads that. There's a few folks drop into there and kind of sit with their cameras on and kind of sit and paint together as well. It's like the community side of what I do is the bit that keeps me coming back. I mean, I love the games and everything else, but I love that community aspect of people who are separated by thousands of miles, but they all come together to kind of, because they all love the same stuff. Warwick saying the only time I've enjoyed. Steve saying I did get to roll dice against Alessio Cavatori though. That was awesome. Yeah, that's one of those kind of bucket list things, mate. Was it? VJ saying Adam got around the white balance issue on his painting Twitch setup by making the face cam black and white. It could do, I suppose. I need to play around with it, mate. I think, and find out. Paul says, how do you rate the Artist Opus dry brushes? How do I rate them? I like them, mate. I like them. I like them a lot. But I think they're really expensive, I think. And I know Army Painter have got some new ones out now, which are essentially the kind of Artist Opus sort of rip-offs, I think. So I'd be keen... Excuse me, I just grabbed some water to wash these brushes. I'd be keen to try the Army Painter ones to compare them. But I find these really good. If you haven't watched the Artist Opus YouTube channel... Byron, who basically owns the company, does some painting tutorials and shows you how to kind of get the best out of the brushes. And what I'm doing is a very basic, just dry brushing, but he does some amazing blends and stuff. Like, and it looks like he's airbrushed, and all he's doing is airbrushing. All he's doing is dry brushing, and it looks like he's airbrushed them. And he's really, really he knows what he's doing to get the best out of them. However, I'm sure you could do that with normal kind of makeup brushes and stuff as well. Before I got these ones, I was just using, if I can see where I've put them, I was just using stuff like this, just cheap kind of pound shop makeup brushes and stuff. And to be honest, they work quite well, but I like these kind of rounded ones. I mean, this one needs cleaning now because I've just been using it, but I like the rounded heads on them, and I like the fact they come in multiple sizes, so you can kind of see this nice. This is the extra large one. It's great for kind of like for tanks and stuff, but the bigger stuff. But yeah, I've got all sorts of like random size brushes and stuff, like just like these are De La Rowney like flat wash brushes and stuff like that. And I think I bought this one when I was doing like big bits of terrain and stuff. This one's just like what they call like a round mop. So yeah, it's nice to have some different brushes and stuff, but yeah, you can spend a fortune, and sometimes they're better, sometimes they're just more expensive. I put my kitchen towel, didn't I? Tony says, I do like your painting and your style. You're too harsh on yourself when you say you're not that good. You do some great stuff at good pace. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. I think for the time I take, I'm happy with the finish. It took me a long time to get to that stage. Like Mart, who's in the chat tonight, I love the quality of stuff that he does. It's just like it's a cut above like the level of stuff that I paint to. And I at some point I do want to just try and take my time with one model and just see if I've kind of improved it all, because I don't think I've improved. I think I am achieving a standard I'm happy, but I just keep getting faster, and that's what I need, really, to be fair. So I'm all right with that, but I have no idea whether my quality's got any better or not. Right, what to do now? I think what we need to do is we need to do a little bit more with this skin and stuff. So there's a lot of I think what we'll do is we'll come into, you might be able to see on the camera there, on the leg, there's kind of like a torn like gash open. I'm going to come in, I think, with some kind of Screamer pink and paint those areas, and then what I'll do is I'll really I'll kind of wash them back and highlight them back up again. Vijay says he's follow up on the Blitz League thing in the Discord in the next day or two. He was looking at making a cross audience. The BlackJack tabletop means the Agents of Sigmar. That'd be pretty cool, mate. Nice way to kind of cross-platform stuff. I've got no problems with that. Where's my brush I'm going to use? Let's have a size 0, I think. You might have to work something regarding broadcasting games and chat. Yeah, that might be quite cool, mate, actually. Jason says he just pre-ordered the new Kings of War 2 player starter set. Going to try and convert a buddy who's a long-time fantasy and AOS player. I'm just reading your comment there, Luke. Yes, what was I just going to say there to your comment, Jason? Yeah, it's a really nice set, mate, isn't it? I must admit, I'm tempted to pick it up myself, purely just as a little background project. As I mentioned before, I've obviously I've got my dwarfs and stuff, but I wouldn't mind some little starter sets just to get some home games in, really. I think just see if I can get my kids to play and stuff. But we'll see. Where's that one? Just come in. Where are we up to? Yeah, he says you can hear Tribute Paint in the background. Yeah, that was what I was laughing at. I love Tenacious D. Matt says, I envy you pushing paint. I'm pushing paper at the job in California. At least you're in California, mate. It could be worse. You could be stuck here in a very cold and very wet Newcastle. Seb Corsness donated through Super Chat. Thank you very much. Cheers, mate. Love your content on... Was that on Armada? Thank you very much, mate. I do have more content coming, mate. I've been playing the game a little bit more because I think I said this online as well. My biggest regret with that first video is I never really got a chance to show off the magic a little bit more, the fantasy aspect of it, and that was purely down to the fact is that I was obviously keen to get the video up as quickly as I could. And I hadn't had many games under my belt, and I was playing against my wife who'd never played the game at all. She sort of volunteered or was cajoled, I should say, to help me out to do the filming, and I wanted to keep it pretty simple and pretty basic and focus on the core rules. And unfortunately that meant I couldn't include every single kind of sort of rule for it. But yeah, and also scenario wise, whilst that scenario is great, just that kind of like pitched battle type thing, it's great to introduce the game. It's not the most fun of the 10 scenarios. Like there's some awesome stuff in there. I think Mantic's blog tonight is talking about the 10 scenarios as well. So if you want to know a little bit more about them, I'm sure it mentions the kind of I think it's scenario 2, which is about the Kraken. That's the kind of stuff I'd like to show in the future. So yeah, my wife's offered to play again on camera. She enjoyed the game. She's not really a lover of miniatures games, so when I've played miniatures games with her in the past, she's not particularly enjoyed them. But she was really kind of like, she wanted to kind of help me and support me to do this. And actually after the game, she said, I really enjoyed that. There's a lot of reasons why she preferred that over other miniatures games, and I'll probably cover them in a future review, because I found it really interesting actually. And I think she said. I think we're planning on recording another podcast for the Patreon. So if you pledge at $5 or more to the Patreon, there's a monthly podcast as well. And I think we're planning on recording another podcast, just talking about that very subject, about why why she found this game, Armada, much more interesting than other miniatures games she's played. So yeah, I think we're planning to do that. So yeah, thank you for the donation, and yes, more Armada content coming. I really enjoyed it. I love the ships. I can't wait for it to release, and hopefully the world's in a better place as well when it releases, and we can start to get some opponents in some games as well. Where are we up to? VG saying, yeah, hoping to get his copy of Refuge soon. Peter says, hope I can get my Star Saga mercs done by next week. Want to play through the base game missions. Yeah, it's always nice playing through them with the with painted minis, mate, isn't it? Marcus is saying the demon code prevents me from declining a rot-off challenge. What are your terms? Simon Davis says artist opus videos are great. Yeah, Byron does a really good job of it. He's doing a great job of those videos. It's really kind of showing how, I hasten to say how easy it is, but how straightforward it is. The guy's got skill. I mean, he's a hell of a painter. He's won loads of painting awards and stuff. He's a big AOS player, and he's won loads of painting awards. So, yeah, he knows his way around a brush. Right. Oh, there's another piece. I knew there was another piece I couldn't see before. There's another one on his chest here. Where else are we up to? Mark's saying, oh yeah, we've done that one. Arnold saying, Hero Quest HasLab campaign available in the UK through Zavi. Hasbro Plus news. Interesting. I'll be perfectly honest, mate. I had no intention of backing it or buying it anyway. I went into it, I think the night we were talking about it. Essentially, it's like I've had that game for 30 years and hardly played it. And just because they're putting some new minis in it, still won't make me want to play that game. And I don't think the minis are anything so special that it's worth kind of getting just for new minis, basically. But I'm sure I'm fortunate that I've got a copy of it, and I know I won't play it. I'm sure there's loads of people who just want it for the nostalgia. So yeah, good luck to them. If more people can get their hands on it, that can only be a good thing. They've obviously found that there's more money to be made. Where we have? Peter says quantity has a quality all of its own. There is an element of that, mate. Yeah, I agree with that. Paul says painting has a trade-off between quality and time. You've found a sweet spot between the two. That's a skill I don't have. It took me 8 hours to paint that Infinity model I posted yesterday. Yeah, it took me a long time, and I think I've kind of found my happy balance purely through necessity, really, through the need to get stuff done in a acceptable timescale. Otherwise, it would never ever get finished in time. Right, I think that's enough of that one now. Seb Ghostness, thank you again for the donation, mate. Much appreciated. That's what keeps the lights on. That's what pays my wages. Thank you very much. Marcus says, I finally got 14 good photos of his Wargeist. Photographing minis is such a pain. I quite enjoy it, actually, mate, if I'm honest. Vigi says, Kings of War new set is on his birthday and Christmas list. Yes, mate, it's a really nice set. I love both the goblins and the rats. I forget what they're called now. Veerman. Daniel Engel, hello mate, how are you doing? This model looks great, thank you very much. Mott saying the new Kings of War goblins and rats are ridiculously good. Yeah, mate, they're just Mantic's knocking it out of the park at the minute, mate. They're really coming on leaps and bounds, like from where they were, like sort of 8 or 9, maybe 7 or 8 years ago. Like I mean, obviously every company kind of moves forward, but yeah, like the new plastics, the new resins, they're a joy to paint, mate. They're a joy to paint, and they're just so nice. Right, I'm at that stage now where I'm just looking at this model, not knowing what to do with it. So I need to get some paint on it. Where are we up to? Matt's saying we've had some lot of air quality issues with all the wildfires. Finally good to deal with a bit of sunshine. Yeah, I forgot about that, mate. I hope you've not been too affected by that. kind of forget at the minute because of what's happening with the COVID stuff. It's like every other piece of news seems to be forgotten about. It's like I still don't really know what happened with all the fires in Australia as well. Like that seemed to get forgotten about. What was happening over there. So I've got no idea how that one kind of ended up either. So we're just coming in here. This is just P3. I think it's called bootstrap leather. Just a brown. I'm just coming in with like a lighter brown, just to pick out the hairs on the backs of the legs and stuff, and the backs of the arms, and then we'll blend those in a little bit as well. Because I did airbrush them in with the gold gunter fur, but you can't really see it because I think I've dry brushed over the top of it, to be honest. So we'll just pick these out, and then we'll highlight these back in as well, the same way we've done with the fur on the back of the head there. Fiji says maybe you should enjoy Blitzball too. So much silly fun. Yeah, we've already planned to have a game here. We were going to play it last night, but to be honest, by the time we had dinner and got the little one to bed, time was getting on a bit, so we ended up just vegging in front of the TV. But yeah, we've already arranged to play a game tomorrow night. So yeah, we might get a bit of blitzballing, mate. We'll either play a bit of blitzball or we'll play a bit of a martyr, I think. So looking forward to it, whatever the game is. Where else are we at? Tasty Brain Drain says, so what you're saying is you're thinking of unleashing the Kraken. I tell you what, mate, the way I feel at the minute, I wouldn't mind unleashing a bottle of Kraken. I can't remember the last time I had a proper boozy night out, and I think I'm ready for a bit of socialising, even though I can't. I think that's my body's craving a proper night out. Where are we at? Marcus said Squidman assists me. David Delaney, hello mate. He says that Damon looks sick. I've missed the last few hangouts, but I'm glad I made it this one. That's okay, mate. That's what these are here for. They're here to just come and hang out when you've got the time, you know, just a little bit of a kick up the butt to say, oh look, the stream's on, the painting stream, the hobby hangout. I should get my paints out. I should paint something. I should join in. Just a little motivator, bring people together in this in these troubled times, mate. That's what they're for. Bring a community together. Let me just tilt that a little bit more. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't fancy trying to put this on a on a painting handle. trying to put this one on. Where are we up to? David Moffat says, here, BlackJack Arenas, I'm at work. I'll be catching the Reaver on this one. Say good things. I will do, mate. Thank you, David. Phil says, wow, the gap where the main arm meets the body could have used some plastic putty. I'm not bothered about that kind of stuff, mate. There's only me ever going to see it. I'm not bothered. Life's too short, mate. Life's too short. I'll never look at this and go, I wish I'd filled that gap. I'll never do that. I mean, the models come pre-assembled like this. I didn't build it, but yeah, I didn't. I also didn't go looking for. I didn't go looking for mold lines. I didn't go looking for gaps. I'm just happy just to paint it. Can you see the gap now? No. That's exactly how I look at it. This will probably go up on a shelf, and I'll see it from about 6 foot away. Or even worse, it'll just go back in the box. Where are we at? Tony says, I like Byron. He's not afraid to make a cock up and leave it just to show we can all make mistakes. And he's good humoured about it. Yeah, he does a good job of those, mate. He does a good job. The only thing I would say is that those videos could have done with being available when that was a Kickstarter. Because I think the problem is now is that this is purely from a business point of view. Those videos are coming out at a time where competitors are now making cheaper versions of the same products or potentially the same products. So people are watching his video and then going buying army painter stuff. So yeah, it's a shame really. just put a little bit more to the beard there, I think, and we'll highlight that one back up as well. Get a little bit of depth to that one. I think we'll probably come over this with a wash as well. So, right, that's a bit of brown on there. Simultaneously, I like spending a long time painting single minis, but I try to get through squads as fast as possible. Hate painting the same things over and over. I've actually quite grown to enjoy batch painting. When I was painting my dwarves for Kings of War, I actually found it quite relaxing. And rather than stressing about kind of trying to do my best work, if you like, just like getting into that routine of, right, I'm gonna paint the boots on all these minis, and I'm gonna paint the boot, and I could almost switch off and just relax and just enjoy the process and kind of watch a film or listen to something in the background. It just became quite a nice kind of something that wasn't like sort of testing my brain, but was taking my mind off stuff to kind of to just enjoy it, if you like. Right, what we're doing now, I think what we'll do is, have I got like a purple wash or something? I think what we'll do is I'm going to come in with a contrast purple. I didn't realise I had a slightly darker one. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to wash over the backs of the wings here and try and bring them up a little bit. VG says, you're not the only one who's lost track of what happened with Aussie fires. Our government promises to fire victims are yet to be delivered. Standard Tories. Arnold says, glad I found my way into Kickstarter. My FOMO would get me into the poorhouse in 2 seconds flat. I'm sure. Oh, he's not found his way, sorry. Yeah, it's, I'll tell you what, mate, it's, there's some lovely stuff on there on Kickstarter, but the problem is it's not always cheap. So, right, what I'm going to do is, I think I should probably use a bit of the contrast medium, I think, with this as well, and we'll thin it down a touch. Mark was saying, watch out, that purple contrast is super dark. Yeah, I think I'm going to try it underneath first, mate, because the problem is I've got the lighter purple, and it wasn't kind of dark enough. So I'm going to try and thin it down a little bit with this one and do the underneath of the wings first, and then see. Wow, it is dark, isn't it? It's going to need a bit of water in that as well, I think, just to thin it out a bit more. Yeah, I think we'll do the underneath where it'll be darker anyway. Daniel says he's listening while making some cottage pies. Nice, mate. I haven't had a cottage pie in a long time. I haven't had lots of things in a long time since I went on my bit of my health kick. But I tell you what, it's worked. That's the main thing. Got a little bit more to go, but it's certainly working. Right, I go. Just thin that down a touch more, just to get it to flow a little bit. Just pick out some of that. What we'll do is we'll probably come back down these panels and highlight them out a little bit. You nearly caught me out, folks. There, I was just about to kind of just start humming and singing away to myself. Tissy Bryn James says, I hear Kraken's a pretty good rum. Yes, it is, mate. James is saying all the glowy bits on the Squad of Necron Warriors undercoated white. Time for satisfying green contrast paint. Nice one, fella. Marcus says, love how that demon is shaping up. Yeah, it's starting to come together, mate. I mean, like I said to Krabby earlier on, I don't have any kind of reference material I'm working from. I am literally just making it up as I go along. But I probably would have just painted the whole thing with an airbrush, I think, if I'd done it off camera. But this is just, I don't even, I honestly just don't even care how this turns out. This is just something, just to paint something a bit different. Like I said, I've been a bit down in the dumps last couple of days. I just need to kind of snap out of it a bit. So yeah, just something that I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about getting wrong. I'm not on a deadline for it. Just paint something a bit different. Yeah. I tell you what, Marco, you're right, mate. It is quite a dark purple, this. I'll tell you what I did find when I was putting the contrast paints through the airbrush. They really did kind of stick to the inside of it. It took a little bit extra cleaning out versus kind of just normal acrylics. I don't know whether inks or anything like that, but yeah, it really kind of stuck to the inside of the cup. So I don't know if that's something to watch out for if you've got a pretty expensive airbrush that clogs up pretty easy or anything like that. Right, how's that looking? Actually, I think I quite like that. I think I am gonna put that purple on the outside. I like the darkness of that. It's kind of like lightening up a little bit as well. So I think we'll have a bit more of that. Phil says you've got 1,000 Facebookers who'll see it. I've got 9,000 YouTube subscribers, mate, but they won't see it either. Don't worry about that. Mott says he's painting a new, saying Storm Order set. Really nice miniature. I hope you're saying Armada there, mate. And Storm Order is not some kind of secret space fleet combat game that you've just let the cat out of the bag there, mate. Paul says, has anybody seen a new Firelock Games Kickstarter or the new Blood and Plunder game? It popped up my Facebook feed today and I'm tempted to back it to get the Blackbeard miniature. I did see it, mate. It did pop up, but Blood and Plunder's never been a game that I've looked into too heavily. Yeah, it's something I like the look of, but for whatever reason I've just never had the opportunity to give it a try or learn anything more about it really. So yeah, it's kind of passed me by, mate. Right. Be a little bit more careful on the tops. I like how that's going on now. You can kind of see there, folks. It's kind of it's just running the recesses a little bit because I've kind of thinned it down a bit more. So it's not as dark as it is on the underside. The underside was more black anyway to start with. So I'm liking how this is going on here. Where else are we up to? Mark says, oh man, before I start painting I have to fix every gap mortar line and floor and fix it just because I can't see it anymore. I know it's there and it'll drive me crazy. There you go, mate. That's exactly the point that I've got to now, where that kind of stuff just doesn't give me any anxiety, mate. I know for a fact that once it's on a shelf, I'll not see it, or if it's on the tabletop. And I think another thing that's kind of helped me as well is the fact is that it's one thing painting to take photographs of, to get them on Facebook or on Instagram, because then that becomes the focus of the attention. So if you're painting stuff to take photos of, it needs to be pretty good. It needs to be flawless, all them gaps and mold lines and everything. But if you're painting stuff to kind of to play online, to play like on camera and stuff, the camera never gets close enough to pick all that kind of stuff up. So for me, I paint so much stuff that I paint something and then I move on to the next one. I tend not to kind of sit and obsess about that same one for too long. And if I did, I'd never get anything done. So that's the beauty of the hobby, isn't it? There's just everybody does it slightly different. There's no right way, which means that there's no wrong way. So it's a nice thing to have. Oh, just put my wrist in it there. Where else are we up to? VG says, speaking of mould lines, Agents of Sigmar do the thing called unpopular opinions on their live stream now. Yesterday, Robin said, scrapping mould lines is overrated. You should have seen the gnashing of teeth. Oh, I tell you what, mate, I completely agree with them. It is overrated. That's why I did that T-shirt ages ago about never mind the mould lines. It was based upon on a live stream we were talking about it, and I was saying, look, I just don't care. I mean, don't get me wrong. If they're really bad, like I've had some models with some awful mould lines, and of course I kind of like clean them up. So if I'm clipping stuff off a sprue or something like that, and there's bits where I've clipped it off and stuff, or there's really kind of severe mould lines, I will clean them up. But generally, like, I'm not like super kind of super anal about it. I'll I'd quite happily kind of let the odd one go here and there. Arnold says, night, need to get an early night. Have fun, y'all. Thank you very much, Arnold. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Luke says, I picked the board game Root on Steam. It is fabulous. I've never played Root before, mate. I see there's quite a few. Actually, I got a few sort of press emails from Asmodee in this last week. Speaking of stuff on Steam, and there's a lot more of their games. I think the what's it called? The Game of Thrones board game or card game, maybe the board game, is coming to Steam now as well, and they've partnered up with somebody who's writing novels based in their games and stuff as well. I think the first one's just come out, and it's based upon Arkham Horror, I think. So yeah, I think it's nice to see more stuff like that coming out. I'd never read the Kings of War Steps to Deliverance book, and I noticed that it had come out on Audible, on audiobook. So I downloaded that at the weekend, and I've been listening to that, and I've been really impressed with it actually. The Kings of War third version, the background and lore has really been kind of expanded, and they've done a cracking job of it. And to be fair, I think it's Mark Barber who's the author of this book for Winged Hussar. He's done a great job of it. And the same guy is writing the Infinity book, or one of the Infinity books, that's coming out next year. So yeah, it's nice to see that kind of stuff starting to materialise. Just gives another... It's like what I was talking about on Monday, about how much do you actually play the game versus how much time do you spend actually just like sort of immersing yourself in the game and the lore and the background, and now with more and more novels and stuff coming out, it's another thing, isn't it? So I just could put some of this into sort of the crevices there, just darken it down a little bit. Right, that's that one, I think. Mortis Star Marder Infinity. Is it really, mate? I never knew that. I thought you just. I thought we were talking about a Warpath version of a Marder there. That would have been pretty good. Let's get me just scroll up a little bit. Michael's saying, yo guys, I have a good tip for me. I ordered a Demon Prince of Nurgle from Citadel, but it doesn't contain a second claw. He's holding a sword. A good tip to scavenge a right hand claw. I'm not sure, mate. You may be better off trying to sculpt something. It says, any Rooter Bones models where I can rip its claw off to attach to my Nurgle Demon Prince. Somebody in the chat might be able to help you, mate. I'm not too up on the Rita Bourne stuff. I never realised that, mate, about being Star Marder being an Infinity faction. It's the new one. That's why I don't know it. Peterson, yeah, same here. I paint and move on. Too much of a backlog to worry about. It's so many games waiting to get finished. Jason says, I obsessively remove more lines. I think most people do, mate. I think there's a real kind of... There's two sides of it. There are people that obsessively remove mold lines, and then there are people like yours truly who just doesn't give a monkeys. Right, I think what we'll do is we need to do something with these claws on the tips here. So I think what we'll do is we're going to use a bit more contrast paint on that, I think. And What colour will I go with? I think I'm just going to go with the Basilicum Grey, and then I'll probably dry brush to lighten them up to maybe, I don't know if I'll go as far as bone, but I'll go with kind of a grey, I think. Andrew Fairbanks says companies that put the mould lines across the middle of the pad should have their whole team dug out in the street and beaten with reeds. I'll tell you what, mate, it's not as bad as the ones that put the mould lines right across the middle of a face. That's happened way too many times. Fiji says, yep, love Never Mind the Mould Lines t-shirt. And riffing on the bollocks was an inspired. So yeah, I'll tell you what, mate. I've got a couple of ideas for some new t-shirts coming up as well. I will say publicly, I owe Christian 2 t-shirts, I think, from his Patreon stuff. And they're all like exclusive designs for the higher level Patreons. So I need to get those ones done first. But once they're done, yeah, there'll be a couple of new designs coming soon. So watch out for those. And anybody that hasn't seen the current t-shirts that's on sale, this time I'm wearing one of them now. There's a few others as well. So yeah, you can check them out. And there might potentially be a bit of an announcement about t-shirts and merchandise coming soon. I've got somebody is looking at potentially doing some further stuff with that kind of stuff for me. So yeah, if that comes off, good news, happy days. Where are we up to? Vijay says people mistake it for a Sex Pistols t-shirt all the time. David Delaney says, does anyone know a good resource to buy bulk cheap miniatures for D&D? It depends what you mean by bulk, mate, to be honest. As daft as it sounds, second-hand Kickstarters, you know, when people back these sort of all-in Kickstarters and then realise it's not for them, picking them up a bit cheaper is sometimes not a bad way to pick up bulks of miniatures and stuff like that. Or of course you could always set your D&D story in a little green army camp and just use little green army men miniatures. Right, I think what we'll do is we'll just darken these ones down with a bit of grey, and then we'll blend them in. We'll blend them in afterwards. Just get some colour on it first. Luke says, yeah, it's the Game of Thrones board game, amazing game, and done to bring an online platform, such a backstabbing game. Yeah, I've heard that it's very much a kind of a screw you kind of thing. That game Among Us that you were talking about, Luke, seems to be getting a hell of a lot of good press at the minute, mate. I'm seeing like sort of in other gaming groups that I'm in, like with my local gaming group, they've been talking about it, and they're not like board gamers or not online sort of games players at all, and even they've been talking about it as well. So I don't know much about the game. I only from what you've told me, mate, when you've been playing it. So right. I appreciate, folks, this might look like a little bit like sort of slapdash, a bit contrast, sort of happy here, and you'd be thinking, oh my god, he's ruining that miniature. It's just all part of a process, mate. So there will be a point where all that becomes apparent, what I'm trying to do with it. I'm just trying to darken them down a little bit at the minute. Vijay, what was that based on? Arkham Horror. It was a novel, mate. So they've got somebody to write novels based upon Fantasy Flight sort of IPs. I think there's a Netrunner novel coming as well, actually. Where was that one? VC, speaking of Lovecraft, yesterday's episode of Lovecraft Country was awesome. Really loving that series. I need to catch up with it, mate. I've watched the first couple of episodes, and then for whatever reason, I seem to have kind of not gone back and watched the rest. I need to get back into that. Right. I think what I need to do is do a little bit of work on the face, because I need a focal point. I need to feel like something's getting done. So Let's go with a bit of Ulthuan Grey to pick out the teeth and clean those up a little bit. Peter Nicholas says, if I have a model which is mold lines or clipper marks, they get cleaned before it's assembled. Even if some parts cannot be seen once assembled, the mold lines got to go. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't just completely ignore them. I do actually sort of clean them up as I go and stuff. But if they're awkward to get at or stuff, I don't sweat it. I don't really worry about it so much. So yeah, I think we'll spend a little bit of time on the face now just to give it a focal point, because there is a point where you can kind of do too much with this. I'm just going to pick those out. I think I'll come in with the pink again and come in for the gums and stuff. We'll do a little bit of work on the eyes. Adam says, hey peeps, finally moved house, which means I now have more room and a hobby table set up by the weekend with room for game space, and we have a dining table for board games. So happy. Nice one, fella, nice one. Our dining table, this is going to sound a bit weird, but our dining table is a little bit big for board games. It's like it's quite a big square dining table, because the last house we were in had quite a big dining room, so we had this big square table. And you actually end up sitting too far away, like to sit opposite each other to play a board game. So it's a bit of a pain in the backside, to be fair. But yeah, first world problems there. But yeah, so we're doing a bit of decorating at the minute, and we do have a plan to buy like a smaller table for the conservatory, so we can kind of sit in there. It's kind of half a bit of a playroom for the little one, and then half a bit of a family room, really. So we've got a bit of a kind of a little area in there where we're going to start playing games and stuff. So yeah, so that'll be fun. Because yeah, it's weird sitting at the big dining table. We end up sitting next to each other, which is why it's great for like co-op games, but it's not so good for like for games against each other. Alright, we're just coming with this. I think is it pink horror, this stuff, or Screamer Pink? Yeah, Screamer Pink. We're just coming in and just picking out kind of around the bottoms of gums and stuff like that. Right, what do you reckon for the eyes, folks? Do you reckon they're going to be yellow? Vigi says, no matter how many lines I do, the more I find when I'm putting on the paint. So yeah, big ones, never mind the rest. That's me, mate. Magic the Gathering Arena or Planeswalker's tactical board game includes 30 miniatures, 20 quid on Amazon. There you go. Perfect recommendation for minis. Peter says, I stopped looking at Lovecraft Country. Honestly, found it was all over the place, really. Like I say, I only watched the first couple of episodes, so I'm not really sure how it pans out. Me and my missus have been watching Ratchet on Netflix, I think it is, which is based on the nurse from the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And that started off quite promising, but then that's been all over the place as well, so I've kind of zoned out of it now. My wife's kept watching it, but yeah, it seems to be all over the place as well. So, right. Get a little bit of colour into the eyeballs here. Bring it to life a bit. So I can see I'm just starting to pick up some of the stuff on the face. I've got no idea what to do with the weapon. What's your thoughts on the weapon, folks? Do I just go with kind of old, kind of bronzy, metallic, kind of standard kind of weapon? What would you do with it? Okay, I think I'm going to come in with a light grey, the Ulthuan grey as well, and pick out those horns on his head, and then I can choose kind of colouring on that. Let's just scroll down a little bit here. Tony said he's back. Speaking of t-shirts, I have a nice collection of BlackJack t-shirts and hoodies. I need to get myself a hoodie actually with the winter coming. I haven't got myself a hoodie yet. So yeah, I think I've got an idea for a design that I might design for myself and then pop it on sale if folks want one. So, because I did see a nice hoodie that I wanted, but it was only available in the US, and I think by the time I paid postage for it, it was getting quite expensive, and then it was a case of actually I still don't know if it'll even fit me when it comes. So yeah. All right, let's try and pick some of these horns out here. Where are we up to? VGC and D&D minis are pretty damn cheap already, especially compared to GW. Yeah, I mean, I didn't realise D&D minis sold quite so well. I didn't realise so many people actually kind of did their D&D games with minis. I always assumed it was a lot more kind of just sort of theatre of the mind, if you like, rather than actually with minis. So those of you that are kind of in the chat and stuff like that, how many of you played RPGs or like D&D, and how important are the minis to you? Do you, or is that, do you use minis because you're a miniature gamer and you like kind of painting them up and stuff, or is there anybody that plays D&D and doesn't use minis? Is it more about not using them at the moment because of restrictions in seeing each other face to face? I'm not really up on RPGs, and I'm not familiar with just how big the. I mean, I know that they sell a lot of them, but I'm not sure how big minis in RPG is. Is it a recent thing? Has it always been a thing? Because I remember when I used to go to a gaming club years ago, the guys that played there, they never used kind of minis and stuff. They drew maps and stuff out, but it was, I don't think they actually they never used any kind of make minis as representations of characters and stuff. Borg Dark Edge says Router minis are good for D&D. The bones are pretty cheap. Peter saying there, D&D Adventure Series board games come with about 50 minis. Marcus says, so got to go early. Need to pick up a friend from the airport. Take care, mate. David says, been looking for more minis. Yeah. Marcus says, see everyone next week. Luke says, mate, I can't get enough of Among Us. Best £4 you can spend on Steam. I'll have to take a look at it, mate. I think it's like a, what do you call it? Like a secret. Like a secret assassin type, not assassin, but like secret information game, isn't it? Where one of you is the bad guy or whatever. Where are we up to here? Must be in loads. Must have really jumped up there when I was doing that one. Yoakum says, got to sleep. New paint and setup looks great, Andy. Good night, folks. Thank you very much, Yoakum. Luke says, must be done with voice chat though. Yeah, I can imagine, mate. From what I understand about it, I imagine it loses some of the appeal if it's just kind of sort of done without it. Phil saying, you played Among Us with friends and family. Yeah, nice one. Tony saying about Reaper Bones and WizKids do a pretty decent range. Andrew saying, yeah, a few too many Among Us streams. I think it's wasted my life. Simon says, last episode of Lovecraft Country with those demon girls freaked me out. It was scary. I'm going to have to get back into it, mate. I like that kind of stuff, to be fair. Tony's saying it's a bit trippy. David says, 65% of the time I forget to clean up mold lines. 65% of the time, every time. It's a bit like Anchorman. Is it Sex Panther? Works 50% of the time, every time. Right, I'm just again, folks. Like this might just look like I'm being a bit kind of random and stuff with this, but I'm just trying to get some kind of some variance in kind of texture to it and stuff. And as I kind of like wash over the top of it and layer things up, it'll all become apparent. So it might appear that I'm screwing things up, but it's all part of the process. Peter said, I still find myself repainting older models if they had mold lines as well. There you go. Going over old mold lines as well. That's true dedication. The old me would have just painted it, so the new me is going to do it anyway. Alright, we'll pick out these bits of bones. It's quite a detailed mini, actually, this, for a kind of like a board game piece. As much as Mythic seem to screw up the rules for their games, they make some pretty decent minis. And I'm looking forward to, as I mentioned before, Super Fantasy Brawl on its way. There's some nice minis I'm looking forward to painting. People that have got their hands on them, the ones that have shipped and arrived, seem to be speaking quite highly of them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And again, they're like that nicer, kind of bigger size as well, rather than just kind of standard 28mm stuff. VG says, okay, that's 90 minutes spent tidying up edges and mistakes with Wraithbone. Hopefully finishing touches on this human Blitzball team over the weekend. How's the hand holding up, mate? Are you managing okay with that while you're painting? Not giving you too much pain or anything like that. VG saying, I love that about Lovecraft Country. Each episode has a different theme, trope. It's an anthology without losing a common plot. See, I quite like that aspect of it. What have I watched recently that I've been enjoying? I watched Sneakerheads. That was quite good. What else I watched? I watched the video game documentary thing as well. That was on Netflix. That was pretty cool. I watched the All or Nothing. I like the All or Nothing documentaries on Amazon, but I normally watch the NFL ones. I've really enjoyed them over the years. But they've done a couple of football ones recently, and the last one was Spurs, and actually it was really good watch. If you're a football fan, I would definitely recommend checking it out. It's basically like last season, and they're following Tottenham Hotspur right up to the point where basically the coronavirus shuts down the Premier League, and it's quite interesting actually just seeing kind of what goes on behind the scenes. Something as big as a kind of Premier League football club. Yeah, it's an interesting documentary. I think what we'll do is we'll just lighten up across the tops of these bones, and then when we come over the top with a bit of a wash, it'll darken it back down again as well. Perfect. James is saying maybe it's a bone weapon. Yeah, I'm trying to look at it, mate. It's kind of hard to tell, really. It's it looks like it's kind of bits of wood with bits of spikes through it or something like that. Or yeah, it could be bone. It could be. I don't know if I want a kind of something really light though to take the focus away from that. At the minute, I like that kind of triangular shape we've got down the middle here, with the wings kind of coming down to a point. I think if I make that too light, it'll draw the attention away. So that's why I'm tempted to go with kind of like a bronze or something like that. Peter says weapon. what was that one? Little things under it. Weapon for a devil could be red hot steel, but not easy to get that finished. Yeah, it could be, but I think I'll end up with a bit of a bit too much red on it. I think. I think old bronze or purple and gold. Yeah, I'm thinking kind of old bronze, mate. I think it's nice. It's enough to kind of to give it something, but not enough to pull the focus. Iron and bright gold. I can see so many good options like the glowing metal idea. Jason Cini's rarely used minis when he RPGs. VG says, yeah, always played pencil and paper back in the day. Never used minis. Andrew saying, wish I had no friends to do D&D with. I'm the same, mate. Christian ran the D&D for us and it was awesome. I think there's plans to kind of to get back into it as well and do another. We just did like a one-shot thing and it was good fun. I think there's plans to get in and do another one, but yeah, it'd be good. Right, I think we'll do a bit of... I'm going to do the head of it, I think, with Warplock Bronze. And we'll take it from there, I think, and maybe highlight it up a little bit. Steve says, I play many RPGs, never use minis, but would like to. David says, minis are an optional thing, but if I can play a real-life game, I'll try to play with minis. Dirk says, I played RPGs for years and think I concentrated on the parts that were most fun to me, the battles. I like minis and RPGs, need them for tactical combat. I do wonder, when you start worrying about tactical combat in D&D, would you not be better off just playing a minis game? Because essentially that's what you're doing. You're rolling to hit and stuff like that. You're trying to get past armor and things. I don't know whether it's maybe I haven't played enough D&D to have to have formed a full opinion on it. But it feels like the D&D is, when it gets to the bit on the combat, like, I think at that point, I'd rather be playing a minis game. It's almost the kind of like the story building and stuff that I like about it. Right, so we're coming in here. Well, I'm using Warplock Bronze here, folks, and then obviously I'm gonna kind of highlight up from this as well, so it won't be this dark when it's finished. So let's just get some paint, and we'll come back with a second layer anyway. So I tell you what, painting big minis is a bit of a pain at times. I do like Warplock Bronze as a colour. It looks just kind of quite rich and like aged right as soon as you put it on. I think some of these parts could be bones. Some of these bits around here might look nice as bones, I think. Warwick says 4th edition and 5th edition D&D are really meant to be played with the grids and minis now, especially 4th, although that was one of the things I think that made so many hate the version of play. I think it's one of those things with D&D, isn't it? It brings in new players, which is what keeps it growing, but it ends up drifting away from what the old school players liked. That's the thing, though. I mean, you don't have to keep up with the new editions. It's like anything, isn't it? If you enjoy playing 3rd edition or 3.5, I think it was as well. If you enjoy the older ones, just play the older ones. You don't have to move and upgrade. But then again, I guess that's the same with any game, isn't it? If you've got enough people that want to play the older ones, play the older ones. Get that bit. Tony says, as an old school D&D gamer, we never had minis. The use of minis with D&D started getting popular with 3rd edition as a mainstream thing. I assume that's probably more about them trying to find ways to monetize it as opposed to make more money from it. Because like the minis that are sold are still from the same company, aren't they? Somebody might be able to answer me this. I saw advertised, I think it was like a Facebook advert or something like that. So Magic the Gathering has got like a limited drop of cards which have got something to do with The Walking Dead. Can anybody explain to me how that works? Are they usable in normal games, or is that a separate expansion or something like that? Or it's the first time I've seen anything like that. Like have a kind of like some kind of theme to it. think we'll paint this bit on the end as well, the same colour. Christian saying minis and D&D are useful for complex encounters with lots going on. When I play, we use both minis and theatre of mind depending on the situation. I can imagine it's easier to track them. But did people not used to just draw grids and just like use tokens and stuff, or am I imagining it wrong? I can see why you'd want to use minis. I mean, it's a nice thing to do. I just wasn't sure how prevalent it was. James says minis and D&D are very useful for making Wizards of the Coast more money. Yeah, that was my point really. That's the reason that they try to push them. I assume because they want to make more money. And guess what? They're a company that makes money. Peter says, I am out up in 6. Good night all, and looking good. That devil. It's coming together, mate, isn't it? It's getting a bit of colour and stuff to it. I doubt we'll finish it tonight, but yeah, it'll do all right. Yeah, Andrew Fairway, Sex Panther works 60% of the time, every time. Christopher says, can't stand mold lines. See, different sorts for different folks, isn't it, mate? We all like and dislike different things. Tony says, when we did use minis, I got Reaper minis as the Wizards of the Coast randomised box contents made it impossible to get what you needed for what you were running. I didn't realise they did that. I didn't know that they did randomised stuff back in the day. Do they still do randomised stuff? I guess that might be part of the idea, is it? So that you have random encounters with stuff. I don't know enough about it to know whether that's the case. I think what we'll do is we'll make some kind of a bone type handle. So we'll start with your Shabty bone, and then we'll work back from that. VG says, okay, 8 AM, got to get the little bloke ready for daycare, time to put the paints away. Take care, mate. Thanks for coming in. Catch you later. James is getting this green on the crons is satisfying. I bet, mate. VG saying the hand's been surprisingly good. Nice one, mate. Well, I'm a little bit behind the chat. Let me just catch up a bit before I do any more painting. Me too. I'll have a quick drink. Tony says, I've just been finishing watching The Shield. Never watched it before. Yeah, I've never watched it before, mate, either. James saying, Drive to Survive documentary on Netflix is amazing. F1. I'm not a huge F1 fan, mate, but I quite like just like documentaries and stuff. That's why I watched it as well, called The Playbook, I think it is. And each episode is a different kind of sports coach talking about how they've overcome adversity and the kind of rules for life. That was quite interesting as well. Dirk saying, how many episodes will this season have? Is it done after the 8th? Are we talking about what was it called? Lovecraft Country? I'm not sure, mate. People chatting about it there. VG saying, I'd be in for a BlackJack Legacy D&D one shot. James saying, same here, 100%. Yeah, Christian saying there, the plans to do another one. Just waiting for everyone to confirm the date. That's probably my fault, mate. That's probably me not confirming stuff. Tony said, really enjoyed Lovecraft Country. It's intelligent, challenging, and this week's episode finished with a holy foot moment, which was wonderful. VG said, if you want to play intricate combat, why not just play a skirmish game? How do people have the imagination to play RPGs but cannot imagine grey models as if they were painted? Well, that's just how you read a book, isn't it? And make the story up in your head as well. Andrew says, the way I say it, though, is I do a terrible job role-playing a human in real life. So I don't know how it could be. Well, you get the chance to kind of to try something different now, don't you then? Jason Stanley still plays 2nd edition. Busey says, where did you get that paint rack, or are they a home build? They're from TT Combat, mate. I think they were like 11 quid each or something like that. Let me just, if I can tilt my camera up a little bit, you'll be able to see them. I painted them myself. They came as just MDF. There's 2 of them there, so you can see how wide they are. They came as just MDF, and I just sprayed them off with some Halford's spray paint, mate, to paint them white. Just because my wall's white behind, that's all. So I wanted them to kind of blend in a little bit. VJ says there's a great documentary about history of D&D and Gary Gygax coming out soon. I backed it on Kickstarter. There's a one already on Netflix, I think, mate, or something like that as well. Andrew saying Magic the Gathering also had a set with Godzilla. I didn't see those ones. So they're just art reworks of current cards. Oh, that would make sense then. Paul says, back in the day, we never used minis for RPGs. We also drew maps and marked on pencils where we were. That's kind of what I remember people doing, to be fair, to say. I ain't saying minis, just fancy tokens, yeah. Their Secret Lair series has done some Walking Dead characters. That's what I've seen. It's been adverts on Facebook I've seen, but I didn't understand how it worked. Back when he started playing D&D, Blizzard's saying, long before Wizards of the Coast even existed, we'd buy minis from a company called Ralpartha for our games. Tony's saying he started with basic red box D&D, migrated to first edition, never really got on with non-weapon proficiencies rules. If we did have minis, they were mascots, they were never used. And VG saying second edition AD&D for the win. Still has his books. For the little guy when he gets a bit older. Nice one. Nice to have some stuff to kind of hand down the generations, pass them down. VG saying Ralpatha Classics. SNES Life says not to disrail the current conversation. That's all right, mate. That's exactly what these chats are about. But have you played much more Armada since you did your bat rep? I have, mate. I have played 3 more games since I did my bat rep. And I assume you have a specific question. What do I think of it? What have I played? Anything like that? If you've got a specific question, mate, ask away and I'll see if I can answer it for you. But yes, I've played 3 more games, mate, and I've got another one planned this week as well. I've never heard of Ralpatha. Maybe I'm too young. That's what it might be. Yeah, never feel like you're kind of disrupting the conversation, folks. Like these kind of hobby streams and stuff, they're just rambly type stuff. Really, we don't have any particular subjects. We go where the chat goes. So yeah, so it's just curious if you're still enjoying it. I've pre-ordered the starter and the bigger board. It's the most excited I've been for a miniature game all year. I am really enjoying it, mate. Yeah, as I mentioned, I don't know if you were in earlier on, but I mentioned earlier my only regret when I did that initial battle report was I never got the chance to showcase more of the fantasy side of the game, because we wanted to keep it really simple. My wife had never played before. Literally, the game we played on camera for that battle report was the first time she knew anything at all about that game. She didn't understand how to play, didn't know how ships moved. I literally spent 2 or 3 minutes before we turned the cameras on explaining this is how you move a ship, this is where you measure from, this is how it turns. Everything else I'll just sort of tell you as we go. So I wanted to keep it pretty simple when we did that battle report for that reason, and also like Mantic wanted to release some stuff themselves as well. So the email I got basically about kind of creating the content was basically like don't go into it's kind of the rules too deep, because we want to share some content as well, which is fair enough. All companies do that, especially if you get any kind of early access to stuff. So I wanted to keep it pretty simple initially. So yeah, my biggest regret was that I didn't put more in about the fantasy stuff. And there's a lot more to included. So there is the advanced wind rules can be are included in the game as well, in the kind of like in the more advanced rules. There's rules for weather as well, so you can get like like swells in the sea, and you can get like high winds and that kind of stuff. There are rules for magic, obviously, where you can get magical upgrades. You can also each faction as well has kind of like faction abilities. So where and we did actually include them in the playthrough, or we intended to, but the situations never actually cropped up where we used them. What else is there? There are specific captains, like named captains as well, and they bring specific like sort of special abilities and rules to the game. We didn't use any of those captains in the game. And then there's like normal upgrades as well. Like my wife's ships were upgraded with grappling hooks, which basically gave her a bonus when she was trying to grapple with ships. And then also on top of that, the scenarios are a lot more fun as well. Like the one we did was really just to keep it nice and simple, so that it wasn't trying to track too many different things. But yeah, the ones about like catching the Kraken. There's ones about sort of sailing to sort of certain ports and things. It's just a really fun game. The rules are pretty sort of straightforward to read through. Like they'll sink in pretty easy when you're reading them, but you might think that there's quite a lot of rules. However, in practice, once you start playing, it's really, really straightforward. So yeah, if you're excited about it, mate, already, you've got nothing to worry about. I'm still playing it now, and looking forward to picking up more stuff myself as well when it becomes available. So, because that's all I would say at the minute is the ships I've got. I'd love some more choice. I mean, it's given me the opportunity to try out the game, and get more sort of used to those particular ships. But yeah, I'd like to try some different stuff as well, as I'm sure everybody does. So, Ian Senior's just found his AD&D Monster Manual Classic, not designed in the way you know you're going to have to buy 3 more books. Tasty Brain Drain says, man, Ralpather, I still have my Ralpather Hatchet Man Mini for Battletech. Snares Life says, fair, do you have the Orcs too, or just Dwarfs and Basileia? Just the Dwarfs and Basileia at the minute, mate. Mantic did say when they produced the Orcs and stuff, they were going to send me some out, so hopefully I'll get to see some, and if I do, I'll get them on a separate battle report as well. But yeah, I intend to make more content, but I am conscious of just, I don't want to just keep doing lots of stuff with the same kind of 6 ships. That might get a little bit dull for folks. So I'm trying to kind of, I'll definitely do another one with the Kraken scenario, so you can kind of see that and include a little bit more of kind of magical artifacts and things, and then people can get an idea of the full game really. But yeah, if you're excited for it already, mate, you won't be disappointed when it comes. Vijay saying the old Ralpather Giants were amazing. Enough letting them to poison an elephant. Robert says, well, I hate to, but I have to go. Take care, everyone. Take care, Rob. Thanks for coming again, buddy. I will catch you very, very soon. Don't work too hard, mate. I feel like I'm losing my way a little bit now. I think I'm just kind of getting a bit tired and just slapping paint on here. I think I'm going to let that dry a little bit. I'm going to put a wash over it, and then I might call it for the painting there. Just wash that brush out a touch. Let's see what I'll do while I'm waiting. I'm going to, if I can find my brush soap. Where the hell did I put it? What did I put it up there? No idea where I've put it. Is it over here? Oh, there's some over here. So, Sensei, I'm very excited about it. I had some of the old Man of War stuff from GW, but nobody else was interested in it. Got a few friends that are also interested in Armada, though. Looking forward to seeing some more bat reps from you. Thank you very much, mate. Yeah, so like I say, I'll definitely be doing more stuff, and go into a bit more depth about it as well. But yeah. Once there's more stuff available for me as well, then there'll be more stuff to talk about as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, mate. I'll play through some more of the scenarios as well and see what I can do. People seem to be interested in it, and I'm having fun with it, so it's a good mix. Right, let's clean some of these brushes up a little bit. I need some more tissue. This colour, oh, it's not too bad. Oh, that's really loud on the on the microphone there. So clean these out a bit. So, folks, What's your plans for the rest of the week? Who's got games planned? Anybody got any purchases they're looking at? Anybody playing board games at the minute? Are you all painting stuff this week? I've got more recording stuff to do tomorrow for the end of the week for more video stuff. So yeah, I've got stuff on my plate. James is saying his game mate cancelled on him again. Oh, what? Get him told, mate. Get him told. Snez says, speak of your back rep, were Big Islands part of the box set? I figure you probably made them or had them from maybe another game. They were from they're from Dreadfleet, mate. They're just up here in front of me, actually. So yeah, this was them. They're from Dreadfleet. So I just painted those ones up, mate, and just used those. The ones that you get in the box set basically are just cardboard kind of shapes, really, just to mark them out. But they work. They work well. It's not like a sort of must-have. It was more just I wanted to try and make it a little bit more visually interesting for the video. That was all. James is saying, I bring the rulebook, scenery, and go to his house. Poor show. Oh, that's not good, mate. Jason says, playing God Tier tonight with his little brother. Nice one, fella. I need to get some more God Tier in as well. Simon's saying he's got his first proper Dead Zone game coming up Sunday night. You'll enjoy it, mate. What are you playing? Do you know what faction you're playing? Dead Zone's a hell of a game. Underrated. Tissy Brain Drain says, sadly it looks like my only plans are surviving a hurricane and unfortunately not the drink. Oh, I tell you what, mate, I hope you stay very safe. Luckily over here we don't tend to sort of suffer from extreme weather like that. But I have been abroad on holiday when there's been kind of hurricanes and stuff, and it's not a nice time. Not a nice time at all. We get a bit of flooding, like not me personally, like in our area, but in the UK, we don't tend to get too much in the terms of like wind and stuff. But we sometimes get some kind of flooding issues and stuff with high rains and stuff, and yeah, it's just devastating. I couldn't imagine what it's like, sort of expecting hurricanes and stuff like that coming more often. Ian says he's wrapping up a set of STLs he may try and sell for spaceship-based games. Nice one, mate. Tony's saying he's posting Mike's Mini and then back to painting steampunk and planning a Bayou scenic build for the Warcry Nazambu Ruined Shack set. Nice, mate. I've got my Nazambu faction to paint up as well. I almost did it tonight and decided to have a change of pace. I've got them all. I've got them here actually. Let me just get them. These models are absolutely beautiful. These are the Wild West Exodus models. Let me just let me zoom in on this one a bit. These are so nice, these resins. That's one of them. Let's have a quick look at another one. The detail on them is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, they're up on my tray there to paint. I'll show you what I keep my minis in. So if I can turn this camera around, you're going to get a bit of a tour here now. So as I come round, there's my airbrush booth with my light that's there. And then what I've got here from IKEA is one of those kind of like letter tray things that they have. And this is where I keep my minis that I'm in the middle of painting. Let me spin that light around so you can see it a bit better. So that's where I keep my minis at. These are my neck runs. I'm in the middle of painting. Some more neck runs there in the top, and then I've got my Wild West Exodus stuff in here, ready for the table as well. Oops, just not on the microphone there. Apologies for that one. I'll turn this one back around now. So yeah, you're getting a bit of the guided tour. Get your butt in the right place roughly. There we go. Yeah, it keeps them off my desk, so they're not in kind of like you know how I feel about having stuff kind of like line of sight and stuff. Oh, that's got really dark now. Let me put that one back. Ugh. I think I'm just knocking knocking everything around now a little bit. Let me get that one back. Yeah, you know how I feel about getting stuff out of sight and out of mind and that. It's but it's nice to have it like accessible. So yeah, that's where I put that's my painting pile basically of things. Oh yeah, you got your Asterians. Yeah, sorry Simon. Peter says some terrains at the top of his to-do list. Bobby Clark says he's painting some tundra bases this week and painting some tribal patterns on Drakari vehicles. Can't wait to see them, mate. Dave Delaney said he started a Twitch channel. He's planning on playing through every Resident Evil game this spooky month. Nice one, mate. What's your channel called, mate? Give it a bit of a plug. What's your channel called? Luke's in a peek behind the curtain. He said, yeah, he uses them as well. Bloody brilliant with magnets. They are good with magnets as well, mate. Yeah. Jim's saying, great idea. I get a couple of those next time in IKEA. Luke says, for all my mythic battles, there's one and they fit perfectly from transporting. Nice one. James says the hide your shame pile tip has helped me a lot, I think. Honestly, maybe before I did it as well, it used to really kind of... I used to never finish projects because it used to kind of get you a bit down. Like you would feel like you were never getting stuff done. And getting things out of my line of sight, even just putting them into boxes just to organise them, it makes such a big difference to me. It's a huge difference. Right, let's drop them back into there. How's that looking? Right, I'll put some of these back onto my shelf. Shabbity bone. Remember where everything goes now, folks. Yeah, over there. Woblock bronze is down here. Pink's over there. Oh, right. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of a wash over this part here, just to kind of let it dry off. Where's it? Agrax. Let it dry off a little bit, and then I can come back and just do some dry brushing and some highlighting and stuff on it tomorrow, I think. So just slather it on, bathe it in. Liquid talent. Oops. David Delaney says, thanks, bud. It's a stream by Audible at twitch.tv. I plan on streaming every Thursday. Might double up and do it Tuesday and Thursday. I don't watch a lot of Twitch, mate, but I'll watch out for it, mate. I'll come and check it out. I don't watch a lot of video game stuff these days, to be fair. That's probably why I don't see a lot of Twitch. But yeah, it'd be nice to kind of like support folks, check out what they're doing as well. So yeah, let me know when you're streaming, mate. Even if I can just pop on for a little bit. I've got the app on my phone, so I should be at least be able to just kind of pop on and check it out. But yeah, congrats, mate. It's nice. It's good to kind of do some kind of creative endeavours like that. When I started out doing this, I never thought it would end up being my job. It was just doing it for a bit of fun, and I was just interested in YouTube and how video making worked and stuff like that. I never expected to get to this point or to make so many friends from it. Really, that's the bit I never take for granted. Meeting so many nice people, even if I've never met those folks face to face, and we might never have even spoken, and it might be just virtually, just through chats or sort of private messages and things. It's amazing how many cool people I've met through starting to do a YouTube channel. So, right. I think actually what I'll do is I might wash over. I'll wash over the horns a bit as well, I think, because I want to highlight them back up. I'm going to kind of take that back a little bit. and then bring it back up again to a lighter colour. Ian says, I tell you, I've gotten so much more productive since 3D minis. Always paranoid I couldn't do a good job on certain minis, so I'd procrastinate. But if I print a dozen at a time, what's to lose? I kind of feel like that with minis like this. Mate, to be fair, I used to feel exactly the same way. I would procrastinate and kind of put things off. And then these days, it's like, what's the worst that happens? I'll either strip it or I'll just spray it again and paint it. King John says, hey everyone, I'm still around, loving the excerpts from the live streams to keep updated. Thanks, Andy. I want to see you paint a dwarf with a shaved head. For you, mate, I will sort that. Don't worry about it, mate. We'll get a bald dwarf on the go. Right. So we come in and shade that a little bit. See what we'll do. We'll do underneath a little bit just to see how that looks. Yeah, let's do it. We'll come in with that. And then we can highlight up from there again as well. Just gets into some of them recesses because it wasn't quite dark enough in the recesses. It didn't look like it had the depth. So we'll come in there. And darken that down a touch. There we go. Right. David says, just started Resident Evil 1. Thanks for the shout out. Anytime, buddy. Anytime. So, are you playing the original versions, mate, or the kind of the what they called, like the remastered versions? Because I played the original Resident Evil a while ago, and I must admit I love the Resident Evil games as well. They're one of my favourite franchises. But I must admit, playing that original game back again, it felt really clunky in comparison to how I remembered it. How games have changed. Peter says, I would procrastinate, but I'll just do it later. Trust you, mate. Trust you. Right. Let me just pop these to one side. Put my brushes in there. And then I think we'll leave that to dry and either come back tomorrow or maybe finish it off on another live stream, but that's kind of where we've got to tonight. It looks a bit bright on camera there actually, but it's a little less bright in real life. I like it. And see how that one goes. Right, let's just we'll pop back to that one. I've no idea how light or how dark that looks, but yeah, let's see how the chat is. David saying HD remakes for sure. Love the old games, but the new ones are so great. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. Jacob said 5 and 6 got really stupid. 7's really good though, mate. I love 7. I've got it for VR for my PlayStation, and it's really, really good. Right, folks, I think we'll call it a night there. I kind of feel like I've done everything I need to do tonight. So we'll wrap that one up. Thanks very much for joining me. Remember, if you would like to support me and help me keep doing this, please do check out the Patreon. From as little as $2 a month, you can get access to the Discord. You $5 a month and plus, you get access to you get your name at the end of the video. You'll see everyone's names in a little bit. You get the podcasts. There's mugs at $10. There's t-shirts at $20, and it all goes into kind of keeping me in it, paying me a wage so I can keep doing this independently, and not have like sponsored content. So thank you very much, folks. Thank you, Christian, for sharing that as well. And I will see you all in next Monday's live stream. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And if you did, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done. If you'd like to support the long-term sustainability of this channel, why not consider checking out my Patreon, where you can pledge and support from as little as $2 a month, and there is lots of different tiers and bonuses which will give you access to a private Discord server. It will give you free t-shirts, free mugs, a podcast every month, and a number of other things, including getting your name at the end of every video, like these awesome folks who already support me now.